Okay, thank you, Colin. And welcome to Kerby Centre's 2020 Virtual Remembrance Day service. And while we're disappointed that we are not able to present this in our usual service in the auditorium, we are committed to the health and the safety of our members, our volunteers, our staff, and our community. So we will continue our long-standing tradition of honoring our military and fallen heroes today, virtually. We welcome those of you who join us here today in person, and for the majority of you who are joining us online. Before we begin, I'd like to give the land acknowledgement. As we gather here today, it is vital for us to remember the peoples who have gathered here from millennia. This is the Treaty 7 land of the Indigenous people of Southern Alberta, the Blackfoot nations of Siksika, Kainai, Kainai, and the Tsuut'ina Nation, the Stoney Nakoda nations of Tenpi, Bearspaw, and Wesley, and the historic home of the Métis and the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. It is with the goal of reconciliation that we acknowledge the land on which we gather, and we thank the elders of these nations for their timeless contribution to this land. Now, in compliance with Alberta health regulations, we won't sing, but we will stand for the national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Catholic por Pilipino, y se popila con equality d'épopée, deeply we all as one. Particular, glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for stand on guard
This part of the show flow, Colleen has asked me to say a few words about the Kerby Centre. And ironically, here we bring this by Zoom. And our staff and our volunteers and our board have had to learn a lot about Zoom this year, given the challenges our members and our users have faced. But we are thrilled to be able to have a commitment to honoring our military and particularly helping our members in their recognition and remembrance of Armistice Day, or Remembrance Day as it has come to be known. And this originated at the end of the First World War. The Armistice Agreement was signed between Germany and the Allied forces in Paris on May 11th, November 1918, at 500 hours. The ceasefire went into effect at 1100 hours the same morning, on the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month. The following year marked the first observance of that day to remember and honor those who had died, and to give thanks for the sacrifices of those who came back from serving their country. Today, across country, Canada, and in many other countries, people gather on November 11th to honor the courage and devotion of brave men and women who made the supreme sacrifice of dying for their country. It is that day of remembrance for men and women who have served and continue to serve our country during times of war, conflict, and peace. Particularly the First and Second world wars, but also the Korean Wars and all conflicts since then, in which members of the Canadian Armed Forces have participated, many having given their lives so that we may enjoy freedom today. Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand here in peace and safety, we pay our respects to all of the fallen and all of the wounded and all who have served in all conflicts over the last 100 years. Today, as we should do every day, we remember those who volunteered, sacrificed, served, fought, and died for our freedom. We thank you and we salute all of those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, and we will never forget. Now, we are honored today to have the Honorable Josephine Pond, who is the Minister of Seniors and Housing and the MLA for Calgary-Bennington. We'd like to go live to the Honorable Minister for her words of introduction.
She's on. You need to unmute, Minister.
It happened all the time. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Larry, for the kind introductions. And I'm honored to join you all in the Kerby Centre today as we are proudly to come together every year to honor our sacrificed fallen and also that our virgins. And the men and women in uniform who continue to serve today. It is a powerful reminder that the price of freedom comes to the hands of a brave Canadian who fought out throughout our history and defended and that the freedom and often laid down their lives in the horrific effort. Here's in Calgary, we make our proud tribute. On Memorial Drive, about 3,500 crosses are displayed, honoring thousands of Southern Albertans who lost their life. Additionally, another 120 the cross are displayed, representing over 120,000 brave Canadians who make the same sacrifice. We remember them. Thank yous to the countless donors and the volunteers who support the local legend and the virgins that they serve. This year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the legends provided the custom-made puppy face mask for the virgins living in the long-term care home in several provinces. However, due to the public support, the legends has sold over 200,000 of this puppy masks across Canada. This was an overwhelming shows of our support. I'm so proud to be Canadian. Thank you to Larry and the Kerby Centre for carrying the annual Remembrance Day celebrations virtually for our senior this year. It was my great honor to join you and your members today and wish all the great health. And as we navigated two reminders of this pandemic together, we remember our fallen heroes. Thank you to all who serve, lest we forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Pond. And those of you who are on our Zoom will know that Minister Pond and her staff have been extremely helpful in helping us to reach out to seniors during COVID and support our members. Next, I'd like to introduce Honorable Greg McLean, who is the Member of Parliament for the Calgary Centre, RMP, and we'd like to have him address our group.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this Remembrance Day ceremony with your Kerby Centre community. This year's ceremony is a departure from some of our traditions of remembering and acknowledging the service and sacrifice of our military and veterans, as some services have been cancelled in Calgary or been significantly limited due to the difficult conditions created by the COVID pandemic. But it is also a continuation of the most important aspects of our traditions. While we aren't able to share the same space, we are able to share the same sense of gratitude and to turn our thoughts to the experience of those who faced hardships few of us have known, risking and all too often losing their very lives to defend the families and communities they loved and to uphold the values that make Canada so special. Generations have enjoyed safety, security, and prosperity in Canada because of these sacrifices made on our behalf. To those of you who have served or are serving, I want to say thank you. The dedication and excellence of the Canadian Armed Forces historically and to the present day, whether in combat or as peacekeepers, have played a vital role in protecting the innocent, restoring peace, and fighting oppression. To those of you who have lost loved ones to service, I want to express my condolences and let you know that you and your loved ones are in my thoughts today, as well as in the thoughts of millions across Canada who are taking time on this important day to reflect with somber gratitude on the irreplaceable lives we have lost. Finally, I'd like to thank the Kerby Centre and its staff and you, the community participating in this special Remembrance Day service, for keeping this critical tradition alive despite today's challenges. Thank you, and let us remember and honor the service of our armed forces.
And again, for our viewers on Zoom, the Minister Josephine is joining our food rescue volunteers in the next couple of weeks to help us do our free red market for seniors. And Greg will be joining some of our volunteers and our board members for a brief information session here today. Small group given COVID and everything. So thank you, Minister Pond and Greg. So this time I'm honored to introduce Richard Parker. Richard is our current president, but he has been a long-term board member with Kerby, and a known philanthropist and community supporter in the Calgary area. So Richard, I'd love to have you come on.
Nice, thank you. They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Remember them. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. At this time, we'll take a pause to honor and remember with a video version of the last post, followed immediately by 2 minutes of silence and the rouse, which then will return for a reading.
They were young, as we are young. They served, giving freely of themselves to them. We pledge admin the winds of time to carry their torch and never forget. We will remember them.
We will remember that. Thank you, Madeline. That was 10-year-old Madeline Spurl reading to remember. Now I'd like to call Richard Parker to the podium.
The poppy, the red Remembrance poppy, has become a familiar emblem of Remembrance Day. Due to the poem In Flanders Field, written by Canadian physician Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. Poppies bloomed across some of the worst battlefields of Flanders in World War I. Their brilliant red color became a symbol for the blood spilled in the war, and his inspiration for this historical poem that I will now read. In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies grow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard among the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. You may have noticed in our usual ceremony, we would be in a large gymnasium. We have a number of groups and organizations lay wreaths. Because of COVID, we have pre-laid some of the wreaths, but we would like to recognize the organizations that support us and help us, and every year will be here to present these wreaths. I'd like to recognize the Government of Alberta, National Defence, the Calgary Police Services, the Calgary Fire Department, and the Alpha House veterans. And I'm pleased today to announce and invite one of Kerby Centre's devoted volunteers, Patricia Mittenar, who is also the past executive officer of the Pinoka Legion and the past president of the Ladies Auxiliary Pinoka, to lay the Kerby wreath. And a number of weeks ago, Patricia stopped me in the dining room and said, "Hey, I have to know if we're doing the Kerby Remembrance Day event." And at the time, we didn't know what the numbers would be like. We thought we may have 50 or so people in the gymnasium, but I said to Patricia, we will be doing something for Remembrance Day for sure. We don't know what, but we will. And I'd like to thank Patricia for her long service and support. And I'd like to invite you up. Yeah.
have to bear with me. I'll she is her here. Now this is a poem by Debbie Horlick. Silent now, the soldiers sleep, their tails long laid to rest. I know them not yet still. I weep and place the poppy on my chest. There were thousands of husbands, brothers, fathers, sons, so valiantly they fought. On shores stained red, on hands and knees, it was our freedom that they sought. Cautiously, courageously, they stood their ground, but freedom carries a cost. Thousands of men were wounded and countless lives were lost. So in gratitude of silence and of all those who have served, sleep now, you have earned it. Your peace is well deserved. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you, Patricia. I'd like to thank Richard and Patricia, Madeline, Minister Pond, Honorable Greg McLean, and the attendees online today. I'd also like to invite you, one of the other things that Patricia does for us is she provides tours of Kerby Centre. And so, because we can't meet today all in person, we would love you to come and see our memorial display on the third floor, our Hall of Heroes. And each of the photos on that wall tells a compelling hero story. So we'd like to thank you for joining us here today for this virtual presentation. And until we can safely meet again, we will not sing, but please stand for a version of God Save the Queen. I'd like to say goodbye to everyone and thank you for joining us here at Kerby Centre today. Enjoy the rest of your Remembrance.